Okay, and just like that, welcome back. We have less than 2 minutes on our timer. Um, you're going to notice a few things with your fry pan. One, my light came back on, and hopefully you guys can see that. Don't worry about that. That's just because you put meat in the frying pan. And every time you open it, it is going to drop temperature. At the 3-minute mark, what I did is I used my tongs and I picked up my pork chop, just checking the back of it. And actually, like I said, this is where you want to be careful. I have 1 more minute, but the one side is completely done. And I'm going to actually show you what they should look like. They should be nice and brown like that. Now, you're going to do the other side, because the one side only took 5 minutes. I'm going to put it on for 5 minutes, but in 3 minutes, I'm gonna just check. Now is when you want to get your cup and turn your sink onto the hottest setting it has. Let your sink, or let your water flow for a couple of minutes to get nice and hot. You're gonna want hot water. You're gonna want 4 glasses total of hot water. But you're going to do these at 15-minute intervals. And I'm going to show you what I mean in a couple of minutes. The reason you want hot water versus cold water is because the oil in your electric fry pan is hot. If you add cold water to a hot oil, what's going to happen is you're going to have oil droplets all over your ceiling, your countertop, and all over you. You're going to get burnt, and don't do that. So, adding hot water is a good idea. You want to make sure that the water does not have to be boiling, but let it be hot enough to where steam comes out of your sink. And it is at this time, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill the first glass all the way to the top. I'm going to pull you guys down so you might not be able to see this point, or this part, but hopefully you will. Okay, I've got 3 more minutes on my timer. Again, you can see the steam coming out, and we're just going to give it a little bit of a chop. Okay, and they're getting there, I would say, yeah, see? That's one side, that's the other side. Let it go for maybe another minute. If I let it go the 2 full minutes, what is going to happen is the one side's going to burn. So this is where you need to kind of be more careful with this. I'm going to let it go for another 26 seconds, and then I'm going to add the water to the pan. And I'm actually, at this point, going to allow the lid to come off of the pork chops. For a minute, we're going to just see how this one did. And that one looks perfect. And how does this one look? That one also looks perfect. Okay, I'm going to turn my timer off right now. I've got my hot water. Stand back when you do this. What you're going to do is you want it to do that. That is normal. Okay, that is how my pork chops are in the oil. What you're going to also want to do is with your tongs, you're going to do this every 15 minutes. You're just going to give them a little shake so that they're not sticking to the bottom. What you're going to do is you're going to completely cover it and let it go. Put your timer on for 15 minutes. And let it alone. You're not going to take the lid off. Now, what I always do, I have a little water. I didn't use all of the water. You have to kind of, you want the water to come about to the halfway point of your pork chops. if you're close to your pan, and I'm not saying you have to be in the kitchen the whole half an hour, but about 10 minutes in to it, and you'll hear it. If the pan sounds like it's running out of water, add more water. You're going to do this for a full hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fill my glass with hot water. This is just going to sit, so in a half an hour I can pour that in. Now you're going to want to do that, like I said, 4 times. So I've got my timer on for the first 15 minutes. My potatoes still have not gone on. You can, at this point, don't turn your potatoes on. You're going to let the first 15 minutes of the cook for the pork chops alone. You're not going to turn your potatoes on. You're going to add your water. You're going to set your timer. When your timer beeps at the 15-minute mark, you're going to add your water to your pan. That's when you can go ahead and put your potatoes on. Your potatoes are going to take 25 minutes. And they're also going to take about 10 minutes to boil before they start cooking. So figure 35 minutes. You need a full hour for the pork chops. I usually wait the first 15 minutes, then I put my potatoes on. If your potatoes are done before your pork chops, don't worry about it. Put a lid on your potatoes. You can drain them. Don't let them sit in water, because if they sit in their own water for a couple of extra minutes, they get really soggy. So go ahead and drain them. Put a lid on. Put them on the burner that you use to make them. And they'll just chill out till you're ready to mash them. You can also go ahead and mash them. Put the lid on. They will stay warm for at least 10 minutes, which is all you're going to need for this. So I'm going to turn you off, and we're going to make the meal. I'll let you know what goes on. I'm just going to let this chill out for 45 minutes. I'll be back when these get done. Okay, all, welcome back. It's been 15 minutes. My timer just went off. This is the first 15 minutes. And I don't know if you can kind of hear that. You can definitely see what happens. If your pan is doing this, add more water. You might have to add it before the 15-minute mark. And now, if you can see all that brown, that's actually going to be the gravy that we're going to make. And like I said, you want to get them to about the halfway of your pork chops. And again, when you do this, I'm going to kind of show you. I'm going to angle you guys again. You're just going to give your pork chops a little bit of a slide. And you're going to do that for both pork chops. And put the lid back on. What that's going to do is it's going to actually keep your pork chops from gluing themselves to the bottom where they can burn. The light on your fry pan may go on when you're doing this. It's just temperature drop. It'll go back up to temperature. My husband is making salad, as you can see back. He's actually by the sink, which I need to wait for him because I can't fill my glass.
Oh, here, I got your hot water ready.
Again, put your timer on for 15 minutes. And refill your glass. Now, what you're going to want to do is put your potatoes on, and I've got to move his lettuce. I know he's
right there. Put it there.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to let my potatoes start to get to the boil. I've got 45 more minutes to go. This will be pretty quick. At the next 15-minute mark, just check how much water is left, add more water, another 15 minutes. Your potatoes should start boiling. Put timer on for 25 minutes for your potatoes. And then when that timer is done, you should have, well, we'll see where it is. So I'll be back a little bit later. I'm going to let this go for another 15 minutes. Okay, welcome back. We are at the halfway mark. My potatoes are boiling, so they've got 24 more minutes to go. I've got 1 minute left before I need to add another cup of water, which I have right here. We're going to check. Now, if your pan has water in it, and this one has pretty good water, you're not going to need to add as much water. You're going to add maybe half of the glass and not the whole glass. Really, you only want to add the whole glass if you have no water in the pan. And your fry pan, like I said, should let you know when it needs water. So what you're going to do is you're going to give, again, this one of my pork chops started sticking a little bit. We're going to go ahead and add the water, and we're going to reset the clock for 15 minutes. And again, we're going to fill our glass with hot water. And at the 45-minute mark will be the last time that you're going to add the water. So I made a mistake when I said it was that you needed 4 glasses. It's 3 glasses of hot water. You're going to do it at the beginning of the cook, 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes. At the 1 hour mark, you're going to use your flour, and you're going to, instead of doing hot water, you're going to do ice cold water to this. I'm not going to do it right now because I still have a half an hour, but the reason you don't want to add hot water to your flour mixture is when you add hot water and flour, what happens is the flour will clump and you'll have lumps in your gravy. So always make sure when you're doing a gravy with flour that you add cold water to make it smooth. My husband actually taught me that. My grandmother probably also taught me that, but I don't have as much experience making gravies as my grandmother when she was alive, or my husband. But that's the meal in a nutshell. I was going to do a frozen vegetable. I'm not going to do that tonight because my husband actually made a salad, and that's enough of a vegetable with the potatoes. You got potatoes and salad and the pork chops. That's a good meal. So there is no vegetable for tonight, which is good. Going through my refrigerator, I'm starting to run low on certain things, and I still have 6 more days of this month to get through before I can go grocery shopping. So I'm gonna stop the video. I'm not gonna do the 45-minute mark. In another 15 minutes, basically what you're gonna do is look at the pork chops, add a little bit more water, let them go. They don't necessarily need to go for the 15 minutes. So what I might do is might come back and show you how this is doing. I'm gonna add just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Water. You'll notice, like I said, by the noise that your electric fry pan is making on whether or not you need to add water, and by the steam that comes out of it. I have it completely covered. That's what you want to do. Leave the temperature dial alone. It'll let you know when it needs water. So we've got 12 more minutes and we'll be at the 45-minute mark. I'll be back when that rings.